I don't just talk about other people's stuff, I also make my own. Books in particular. To date, I have 4 books you can check out on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and the short story collection Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Hop on down to the description for Amazon links to all 4 books. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and after a couple weeks of radio silence, we finally got some updates about Gamera Rebirth. And boy, is it a doozy. We have revealed what is called a key visual on the main site, and this is what it looks like. A poster that gives us a full reveal of Gamera, the Gauss, and, well, we'll get to that one in a moment. First, let's take a look at the monsters we already knew were in this. As far as Gamera goes, this is our look at his full design for the series, though given the art style it looks a little more detailed and realistic than what we saw in the trailer. But at the same time, this is supposed to be, I think, what we can expect him to look like. It certainly looks like Gamera, there's no denying that. Though I have to say, I sense a bit of influence from the legendary Godzilla in the head, particularly with those ridges underneath the eyes. That's very similar to what legendary Godzilla has on his head. Not to mention the general sort of boxy shape, at least when it's seen from a profile. We know from the trailer he's going to have more of a pointed snout, but still, I can see a clear influence here. Also worth noting, Gamera's tusks look fairly understated compared to previous incarnations. I mean, Gamera's never had exaggeratedly huge tusks. He's not going to win a contest against a woolly mammoth of the same size, or behemoth or something. But still, as far as designs go, those tusks look smaller than expected. But he still has them because that's one of his primary features. I also notice he's standing a bit more upright than other Gameras. Gamera in the movies tends to lean forward ever so slightly. That's mostly because the design has this giant shell on the back, so it's difficult for the actor to stand completely upright. Here, at least in the poster, Gamera is completely erect. In his posture, I feel the need to specify. Then, of course, we have the Gauss up above. And the term that comes to mind upon looking at them is skin and bones. They look truly emaciated, creatures that are just constantly starving. Everything about them is all thin and gangly and creepy looking. They look nearly skeletal, and that makes them really creepy looking. I think it's making good use of the fact that this is animated, because for as much as I love suitmation, the fact that you always have to fit a person inside means that the Gauss, despite being ravenous creatures, will always have a bit of girth to them because, as mentioned, there's a person in there. But with animation, you can make them look as gaunt and malnourished as you want. And they're making full use of that, at least in this teaser image. Combined with the silhouette from the previous poster, I'd say that's a pretty accurate representation of how they'll look. Overall, not bad designs. They're clearly sticking to the designs that we know from previous incarnations, but they've made a few changes to make them look distinct from those past incarnations. And again, I do sense that there's a bit of legendary MonsterVerse influence in the designs ever so slightly, at least for this poster. But I happen to like the MonsterVerse design, so I'm not complaining there. But then we have the creature on the bottom half of the poster, which so far, as of this video's posting, has not been identified officially. But I'll be darned if it doesn't look like Jiger, who is perhaps the most infamous monster in the entire Gamera franchise. If you know, you know. And if that is Jiger, then that would confirm the idea that at least some of the monsters we'll be seeing in this series are going to be familiar ones, if not all of them. Although I do hesitate to say that it's definitely Jiger because, as we learned with Godzilla Singular Point, sometimes studios are not above recycling old designs to make new monsters or variations of other pre-existing monsters. Whether or not that works, well, that's a completely different topic. But for now, I would say that I'm pretty well certain it's meant to be Jiger. And if it's not, and it's something completely new, well, I'm very curious to know what this creature is and what role it will play. Again, though, they haven't officially said what it is as of this posting. So there's a strong chance that as soon as this video goes up, they will announce it and I will already be behind. But either way, we have this at least for now. So that's the biggest news about Gamera Rebirth at this point. Still don't know how it's going to be considering who's at the helm, but we will certainly see. Images like this certainly make it look promising. Not to mention the fact that they are bringing back other monsters is really intriguing. Because unlike the Godzilla franchise, the Gamera franchise hasn't really recycled monsters that often. Partly because there haven't been as many movies for them to recycle monsters in, of course. But when they do bring back old monsters, it's usually the Gauss, and that's still applying here. But it's been so long since we've seen some of these other creatures. If that is Jiger, that could mean they're aiming to bring back some of the Showa monsters in particular, albeit with maybe more of a leaning towards the Heisei trilogy, based on the visuals as we've seen them so far. Then again, at this point, it's all just speculation, so all we have is this image to go on, and it's a good image, I cannot deny that. Hopefully, it represents the show, and that means the show will be as good. But only time will tell. I guess we'll see. So feel free to share your thoughts down below. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off.
Congratulations, you reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to consider supporting us on Patreon. Of course, the other way to support us is to go to Amazon and check out our books, Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Also check the description for links to DeviantArt and other platforms we operate. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.